All right, Panda, take this away.
All right, down here, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, is the Red Terran player, currently down 1-0 in the series. Can he bring it back and do what he couldn't last week against Apocalypse? That is CMStorm.Polt.
And his opponent in the upper left is currently up 1 in this best of 5. He's got to be feeling good. It's Quantic.Apoc.
I don't know. On this map, I would expect Polt to open Reapers. I actually would not be at all surprised if he opens 2 racks like we saw him do against Froz. But it's also a map where Apocalypse really likes to open Reapers too.
You know, I'm thinking back. I think the last time we had a TVT of this quality happen on Aklon was Joxy versus Polt, man. And that was so long ago. So this is quite intense, and I'm really curious to see if this game goes anything even close to the same. And I left Facebook on. Let me go close that real quick. Freaking.
I don't think any game can go like. That was such a ridiculous base trade. Oh man, that was down to the wire too. That was a really sick series, all things considered.
I wish Joxy would play more of these, Panda, so badly. Like, that was, yeah, one of the best series in a long time. But alright, Apocalypse, I mean, what do you do? Like, I can't imagine. Like, we talk about tournament nerves and all this, that hearsay, but I mean, when you're playing against someone like Polt, I think a lesser player would be like, okay, I'm up 1, I'm nervous, whatever. I gotta imagine Apocalypse is at his computer right now, probably just in his casual pose, like, alright, game 1, exactly as planned. Let's pull it again here for game 2.
Yeah, he has a lot of online experience. This is what I was talking about. Apocalypse really likes going for this double racks Reaper build, but it's going to cost him as this late supply depot will end up showing Polt everything.
Yeah, and Polt's
and
gonna
meanwhile,
see this...
Polt is going for the same build. This is what I... Dude, did I not, like, call this at the beginning of the game?
Well, there is a small advantage here, and I shouldn't even call it small. There's a big advantage here. Polt knows what Apocalypse is doing, but Apocalypse does not have any clue. No scouting information whatsoever. And I gotta tell you, you know what? Reaper versus Reaper fights, I feel that they're the only thing that come close to mimicking Zergling versus Baneling fights. I mean, jumping up to the high ground, getting the small advantages here and there. Look at this. Polt actually has his Reaper. Why is his Reaper over here? I'm curious.
Because it's going to come into flank immediately when the first Reaper goes up the ridge, I think.
That's
because
cool.
like the first reaction that Apocalypse will have upon scouting this is like, oh crap, my opponent's going Reapers too. Let's back out of here. And then the second Reaper's going to come in and be like, yeah, and kill him.
So we need to get like, that was very close to like a Destiny laugh. Like, yeah. Like, I can't even do it the way he does. You did it like way closer than I did.
I've never heard it before, but yes.
Oh man.
That's what I was going for.
Destiny is like, I don't even care that he doesn't play StarCraft anymore. I love that guy. He's hilarious. And last night, I gotta tell this story. It has nothing to do with StarCraft. I'm sorry, guys. I'll shut up when the action starts, but he was talking about like creating this whole fake profile and like creating this whole second life and like making posts on Reddit daily to make it look legit and just like completely just, I don't know. He was going full on crazy last night, man. It was scaring me. He was like setting up to be a psychotic killer and like getting away with it because the person who killed the person would never have existed in the first place. It was just, I don't even,
man. That just really confused me. I don't know how to follow it up.
There's no follow-up.
There's actually a huge divergence here, despite the fact that they're both going for Command Center.
And
damn, that was close.
Losing that Reaper immediately, that's the catch to going up the ramp like that. You really gamble. I mean, if combat awareness was still in the game, it'd be a whole other story, but...
I think this is one of the hills that, like, I don't know, it was never in... I don't think I ever played with combat awareness on this map. Wasn't it added in a bit later?
You know what? Like, why?
Because the hill, it seems like it would be like a low enough grade that combat awareness wouldn't kick in until like you die.
You just have to like tilt your head up slightly.
Back in the game. It was absolutely retarded, but
you know what? Put it back in, but make it like a tech lab upgrade. Something absurd, like something that's like, oh, it can still be good, but not whatever. We don't need to tweak it. Terran's pretty brokenly good as is. At least rather.
This is leading up to be mech too. I really want to see him lift the second Ferrex and use it to scout. Oh no, is he gonna go for bio?
Banshee.
Why would you go for bio on this map?
Banshee, come on, Polt, do it.
No man, tanks all day. Polt very rarely makes a Banshee when he doesn't go for a one base play, and Polt goes for one base Banshee a fair amount of the time. But this, are you looking at this, man? What the hell is Polt going to do against this? A siege tank is
It's
going
not
to
going to
fall.
work. He's got the bunker. Actually, the bunker will fare quite nicely against this, but it's going to be
Apocalypse
still.
has yet to lose a unit, and he's immediately going for the tank. Oh, the bunker is ended up killing a fair amount of Reapers.
But where are the rest of those Reapers Polt had out earlier? Did they all already go down?
They died, yeah.
So quickly! Now behind the mineral
now
lines.
Apocalypse is actually trapped between a rock and a lot of Marines.
Well, the Hellion goes down, only 4 Reapers get out. Check the resources lost. I mean, that wasn't good for Polt, but it wasn't really that bad either. There's no real 4 workers total.
Yeah, Apocalypse is actually following this up with Bio, so I'm going to go ahead and say that that was a victory for Polt. I'm saying that because his opponent is delaying tank production while he's still going to transition into Bio. He delayed everything. He delayed upgrades, he delayed all of his tech at the cost of getting a lot of Reapers out early game, and it really didn't do all too much damage. The one thing he does have is medevacs, though, and Polt, man, he has a Viking now, but...
The bunker at the natural, with that tank, the natural's never going to be touched. But the main is naked. It's exposed. There's a couple of Marines peppered in here. And what's inside? Hellbats, Reapers, and a Hellbat. Or Hellion, sorry.
And Hellbats. Hellbats and more Hellbats, man.
Well, it's not untrue.
It's not untrue. But I'm interested to see how effective this is against 6 Marines and a Reaper.
I think this will be quite nice. I mean, the Marines are going to have to focus on the Hellbats, and if they don't, the Reapers will clean them up for sure.
Oh my god. I forgot about Boost, man. I don't know how.
He gets right on top of him. Now the SV's going to be evacuated.
Boost.
He's got to turn this around the Marines.
If he has the Hellbat soak the Marine fire while the Reapers chime in,
yeah,
he'd be in a good spot. Oh, but the siege tank positioning is actually quite good from Polt. Unfortunately, though, through all this, there's a lot of lost mining time.
Not to mention several workers picked up.
Look at the income rates for both of our players.
Yeah, it's almost in half for Polt.
Yeah.
Not to mention 13 workers picked off at this point. Apocalypse just being the dictator of damage.
And this was in a spot too where, I mean, if Polt was unharassed during this time.
Oh, what is Polt doing? He's got an empty medevac. What is the point of this? Did he just misrally that? Was that just the most awkward scout? What just happened?
I'm not exactly sure. I just noticed that too.
I was like, oh man, Polt's going for a counter drop. This could work out really nice, but no, it's completely empty. I don't even, Panda. This is a weird game. This is a weird matchup, and Apocalypse is just showing dominance, something you wouldn't expect. More racks now on the way here for
additional
Polt.
racks production is so late for Polt. This is what I was saying earlier. Like, if he wasn't harassed, Polt would be scot-free. He would have had these racks already completed, and he would have been working on a third command center, morphing into an orbital at this point. But I'm interested to see how Apocalypse's bio play is going to go up against Polt's, because Reen Tank versus Reen Tank, I think there are very few Terran players in the world that are what.
We had Apocalypse mess up this drop, and now he's forced to go in with it. He left the Hellbat. He picked up the Marine instead of the Hellbat.
And there's a single Marine in there instead.
That,
it's like the Womp Marine.
And because he was caught by the Viking, he had no choice but to just go with it. That sucks.
Well, he got a Marine kill.
This is the first real mistake Apocalypse has made all game, aside from that one small engagement at the ramp, though, so it's hard to fault him, but there are several tanks up here for Polt. Getting into this natural is nothing that's going to be effective at all.
I don't know. It's like Polt's in a spot where he's behind in every way. Like, you can't look at Polt's situation and be like, oh, well, at least he has this. No. He's behind in upgrades, he's behind in economy, he's behind in tech.
Combat Shields is even going to be behind Apocalypse's.
Yeah. Despite it being late. I mean, the addition, yes, tank count slightly better for Polt, but the addition, this is what I'm talking about with tech. The second factory is completing now for Apocalypse, and having the additional tank production earlier than your opponent on this map is so significant because of the map architecture. Oh, Apocalypse trying to take this. Unfortunately, there's a tank on the high ground. He can still take this, but at much cost that he really doesn't want to
He's
This is
also
one of those
got combat shields when his opponent doesn't. I mean, the tech is so heavily in the favor of Apocalypse. I'd love for him to lift off to the main, but he can't.
No.
There's so too many Marines there.
Yeah. This is one of those, like, what can Polt do to get back in the game moments.
Oh, wow.
If Apocalypse F's this up.
It's also 2-1 versus 0-1. Ugh.
Yeah, his upgrades are disgustingly good. But
Well,
he should not have taken this.
He's
Get
trading
out.
poorly, yeah.
He's
Private Ryan gets slammed in the back on his way out.
that was sad. But yeah, Terran Plater starting his +3 weapons while Polt is finishing full on armor. And there's no armor on the field too. Polt went for double engineering bays, but like he's just constructing it now.
Yeah, I'm quite worried here for Polt. I mean, you know, we made the jokes about saying, like, what if Polt went 0-2 and then came back for first kill? I mean, we might be approaching that situation, or we might be approaching a situation where Polt just goes out, man. I don't know.
It would be interesting.
I mean, he's still got so much on the field. It's too early to call this over for him, but as this game has been progressing, Apoc has been the one in control every step of the way, and he continues even now. 3 full medevacs coming into the third base location. There's nothing here to defend it. Marines and tanks stimming in, but this opens the natural.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and he's going in with the main force here. Oh, unfortunately, Polt does actually get a better siege. He does have a high ground advantage and no scan. A little bit of a delayed medevac reaction here from Apocalypse, but the upgrade advantage may be enough if he can take this. Oh no, all of Polt's Marines not on hold position get absolutely ravaged by the tank fire. And Polt has done enough damage at this point to justify his pressure. Now he's leading into a soft contain.
Even so, this is so surreal for me. Because again, rarely, if ever, do you see Polt on the defense to this degree. Because normally, yeah, he's defending and he's dropping behind it, or he's moving out with Hellions behind it, but not here, not today. He's just completely forced to turtle in.
And, I mean, we have 3-2 finishing up here for Apocalypse.
Oh no, everything's on siege right now.
Oh,
He doesn't have the numbers.
Apocalypse.
He's got the upgrades, but not the actual physical unit numbers.
This team's way too late. Polt taking advantage of this and picking up a couple tanks. That was very well done by Polt.
Now he's got a
But
severe
still.
tank lead.
Yeah, and this is something that, like, in a TVT in this situation, you can bounce back into a game. As long as you have the tank count. A lot of innovation supply lead is coming from workers right now.
Innovation? Get out of here, WCS guy!
Apocalypse.
He is playing good, though, man. I don't blame you for confusing for innovation.
No, he's playing very solid.
This is
And,
what
like-
I'm talking about, by the way. Finally, Polt being able to move out with a couple drops. He's been trying to do this all game, but hasn't been afforded the opportunity. But look at this tank surround. This contain is just ridiculous. And if either player had like a single Viking right now, that could change entirely. But Apocalypse soaking those hits early so he can move
He's
in.
taking this, man. And Polt's Marine count is too low. The upgrades are just too bad.
But that was such a clever move that he did. He didn't try and drop on top of the tanks. He was just drawing the fire so he could move forward. But back at home, there's actually nothing here. Apocalypse is just so busy sending everything across the field.
Wave with a couple tanks.
Not before he loses a lot of
point-
SCVs, though. He might even lose a couple tanks.
I really feel like this is a good thing for Apocalypse. He needed to sacrifice a few SCVs. He was getting up in the 80 range and still producing.
He's getting a bit uppity. Someone needed to dial him down just a bit. Okay, the Marine push from Polt. He's going to try to break out of his own base once again, but the tank spread is so good. Apocalypse not even close to being clumped up.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, I'd love to see Innovation make... my god. I'd love to see Apocalypse make a single Viking.
Hey Panda, who's playing on WCS right now?
Soul Key and freaking SOS. Not Innovation, actually.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
even know where I'm getting that from. That's the weird thing. It's like, pulling a couple Marines forward to try and take tank hits, unfortunately loses two
Oh my
tanks in the
God.
process.
The physics in this game make TVT the best matchup,
No,
I
yeah,
swear to
totally.
God.
ZVT is a close second.
Well, this patrolling medevac just trying to provide all the vision in the world. I do find it irritating that tanks have longer range than they do have vision. That's such a weird concept to get around, but it adds a really cool dynamic to the matchup.
It does. It's what I think, like, pushes TBT into the next level.
Oh my god, how do we miss this? Look at this Doom drop.
Yep.
Polt.
And this is really his only chance to get back into the game. I've seen him in a lot of positions like this on this map. Ironically, most likely like mech versus bio, but in Marine Tank too, you have this.
This is
ability.
This is Polt's signature. Like he's just signing the map right now.
He Doom drops people a lot.
Yeah, but okay, will this matter? He's still down in upgrades, and it's playing a huge factor in every engagement. Will it matter for this? Tanks going down before they can siege.
It's non-existent here for Apocalypse.
Oh my god, Panda, he's cleaned up everything. He's going to push into these reinforcement waves.
He's forcing Apocalypse's army back. You got to force somehow behind this, and all of a sudden we have a 60 supply advantage for Polt. What the hell is
I don't know how, when, where, or why, but it's working. And now Polt is pushing out as well. I mean, even if Apocalypse holds this, he's got the reinforcement wave from Polt to deal with. A game that I thought was so one-sided in Apocalypse's favor being turned around in an instant.
I've seen Polt win games like this, like, so often.
Oh no, he's funneling in! The rally! He needs to fix his rally!
That's like 12 Marines that have just died in a single Marauder.
But a drop of full medevac. Another one's still alive. Gonna go for the main. Apocalypse isn't just taking this. I mean, he's doing damage behind it. Oh, but Panda, we have a huge amount of Marines. Another Doom drop. Oh my god, coming into the main. So many siege tanks here. This is the army of Polt sieging up. And Apocalypse just can't hold this. There's no way for him to break this. He doesn't have any drops of his own.
His opponent is taking advantage of his base. He's like, here, this is my base now, you lose.
Wow, good game called, and I can't believe that.
What the hell?
Indeed. Oh, fuck.
That game. It was that weird spot where you get to a point where you have X amount of economy lead, but once your opponent catches up in upgrades and you don't build infrastructure to like make up for the fact that you have an economic advantage, that's just like on the table. It's a level playing field at that point. As long as you're on even production with your opponent, economic advantage like previous, it's a wash.